If you put a cap on how much money someone can make, are they going to continue innovating? No. Maybe you just decide to take it easy. You retire. You sell a yacht around the world. You're going to start consuming instead of saving and producing.
When I say things like that, people call me a complete moron and tweet, more money in the richest hands means money sitting in the bank doing nothing. But that's an ignorant view of banks. In reality,
that money gets lent out,
which allows other people to build businesses, buy homes, get educated.
New machinery, tools, factories, equipment, technology.
Still, we hear
the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Talks with Kenny here today. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to get into this video. Capitalism isn't evil. Capitalism is part 1. Let's react to it. Let's get into it.
Everywhere, people trash capitalism. No system has redistributed wealth from the poor to the rich as effectively as our own.
I call it slavery by another name.
But what they think they know about capitalism is often wrong. In this video and the next, we'll bust 7 myths about capitalism.
No one ever makes $1 billion. You take $1 billion.
Wait.
Bruh.
What do you mean listen to this, guys. Capitalism is a voluntary system. I'll repeat myself again. All right? It doesn't matter how you feel about it.
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
Capitalism is a voluntary system. The only way someone makes $1 billion if people perceive their service or product valuable enough that they give you money, right? No one put a gun to your head and say you have to pay these $16 a month for Amazon Prime. It's asinine to me. And this is why I always think, and AOC kind of proves my case when I say that Democrats have the largest share of uneducated voters. Because imagine, you vote for a congresswoman.
It doesn't make sense.
She doesn't even know the economic system in which the government that she holds office in, the position of government that she holds office in, she doesn't even know how it actually works. And she's sitting here giving you her imagination of what capitalism is instead of the reality of it. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video.
That's myth 1. Capitalists get rich by taking money from others.
Jeff Bezos has what, $100 billion? Yeah, his wealth is making a lot of people poor.
People assume that because they think
we have a finite amount of money.
A finite amount. So when they win, you lose. But that's not true because entrepreneurs create new wealth. Research shows that when rich,
they only kept 2.2% of the additional wealth they generated for the economy.
Economist Dan Mitchell.
In other words, the rest of us captured almost 98% of the benefits.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Yes, Steve Jobs kept billions. But by creating Apple, he gave us more.
Yeah, that's true. Like these liberals that come here and say, "Oh, capitalism," these socialists, it's almost like they want you to give them free labor. Like they feel entitled to your stuff and they don't think they have to contribute or give you anything for it. Oh, you're just supposed to do that because you're a good Samaritan, right? Capitalism rewards the most productive people in our society. The more valuable you are, the more money you tend to make. To me, that's a fair system. That's why I'm a free market capitalist, right? Any form of corruption that you see in capitalism is always due to some interaction with the government because the government doesn't produce anything. All government do is I extract resources from this group of people and use it for something else. Capitalism is an incentive-based economic system where the will of the people, right? People give you an incentive. The free market gives you an incentive. Hey, we like your product. Keep doing it. Here's money to support your product. This is why I'm so against government subsidies, because I believe government subsidies is a socialist policy. You're getting the government to incentivize behavior in corporations, and I don't think that's a good idea, because then effectively these corporations are beholden to the government. This is how you get Twitter censoring political opposition to the establishment. Hey, tell me I'm lying. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
So many new jobs, and he added billions to our economy, all by creating tech that makes our lives better.
I hope that we get 100 new super billionaires because that means that there's 100 new people who have figured out ways to make the rest of our lives better off.
Let's abolish billionaires.
This former labor secretary says
Entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos would be just as motivated by, say, $100 million or even $50 million.
Ooh. But he misses the most important fact about capitalism.
I'm not giving Jeff Bezos any money unless he's selling me something that I value more than that money.
Billionaires.
No one deserves to have that much money.
None of these zillionaires needs that much money.
If you put a cap on how much money someone can make, are they going to continue innovating? No. Maybe you just decide to take it easy. You retire. You sell a yacht around the world. You're going to start consuming instead of saving and producing.
It's all about incentive structures, right? And Ben Shapiro made a good point. I don't know where I heard this from, but he mentioned how humans are only as good as the incentives that you put in front of them, right? Incentives are a big draw on our biology, right? That's why sugar is such an addicting substance, because it's rare to have sugar, and when we get sugar, we consume as much of it as we can, because in a biological sense, that was rare to come across. So when you put a cap on, you can only maximum make $100 million. There's no incentive to, let me keep pushing the boundaries. Let me keep innovating, right? Elon Musk wouldn't be who he is today if we put a cap on how much money he can make. If we put him at $1 million, he would have been satisfied with PayPal, and he would never have innovated Tesla, bring about SpaceX, Boring Company, bought Twitter. None of that will ever happen. And you're artificially limiting the human capacity, the human potential to strive for more, to challenge the status quo. Right. And this is what a lot of, I believe, socialists can't comprehend. They seem to not think that humans are they don't think in biology. They just think everything with their feelings. You should be doing this for the good of the people. Yeah, that sounds nice, but there needs to be more than just morality for people to do stuff. People become doctors, yes, to help people, but at the same time, they know, hey, I can live a pretty good lifestyle. I'll be rewarded handsomely for all the time, all the years of medical school, all the mental stress I put on myself, because if you didn't notice, medical doctors are prone to suicide because of how stressful and demanding their jobs is. You think they want to be compensated appropriately for taking on that burden? I'll say yes. So to sit here and demand, they should work for free for us for the good of the people, and they go back to living the same standard of living as everyone else, but the cost to be a doctor is different than the cost to be a cashier at a retail store. The mental demand, the skill demand is different. So therefore, they should be compensated differently. I don't know. I'm just making. I don't know, because these socialists will come here and tell you how to supposedly, we should be able to give everybody a job. Everyone should be making the same thing. We should put a cap on how much money you can make, and then you put a cap of how much people want to work. Because then people in capitalism, the more you work, the more you earn, usually. Now, there's a cap to that. Eventually, you only got 24 hours of the day. And if you want to make substantial money, you got to start a business. You got to start creating entrepreneurs. This is why our government's tax incentivize people to be entrepreneurs, because they create more jobs, and more jobs equal what? More tax dollars. This is why when these people run around, these socialists come around saying, let's tax the rich.
Nope.
You can't really tax the rich, because the rich are like, I'm bringing all these jobs. I'm bringing you tax revenue to your county, and you want to tax me? Let me leave. Let me give my business somewhere else. And that's what AOC did. The AOC cost New York 50,000 jobs. That's 50,000 taxpaying dollars that New York lost a chance at getting. And what you socialists do, what you Democrats do in New York, y'all still vote her in. This is why I believe AOC is so incompetent, because she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know how her system actually works. And when you don't know the actual problems, you don't know how the actual system works, how can you correctly identify or provide a proper solution to address said problem? That's an L. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
When I say things like that, people call me a complete moron and tweet more money in the richest hands means money sitting in the bank doing nothing. But that's an ignorant view of banks. In reality,
that money gets lent out,
which allows other people to build businesses, buy homes, get educated.
new machinery, tools, factories, equipment, technology.
Still, we hear
The rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
that's myth too. The truth is that the poor and middle class are getting richer too.
The economic pie grows. We are much richer than our grandparents, and our grandparents were much richer than their grandparents.
For thousands of years, the world had almost no wealth creation. Then some countries tried capitalism.
You can see that per capita GDP is climbing and climbing and climbing.
Capitalists helped everyone, including the poor.
They do by bringing cheaper and better food to my supermarket. They do it by providing better goods and services.
So high tech, it could only come from Motorola.
Look how communications changed. 25 years ago, phones looked like this. Then we got the BlackBerry, the iPhone.
Way smarter than any mobile device has ever been.
Now we have cheap smartphones. When the media say
The middle class is in decline.
America's middle class is in decline.
Well, they're right.
but they miss why.
It's shrinking because more and more people are moving into those upper income quintiles. The rich get richer in a capitalist society, but guess what? The rest of us get richer as well.
And to me, rich and poor is relative, right? Because no matter how much money you make, there's always going to be someone richer than you. And the concept, and then the definition of rich always changes, right? If the average income in America was $1 million, someone who makes $1 billion will still be considered rich. Someone who makes $1 trillion will be considered rich, and people will be compared. It's just envy. This is all it comes down to, and that's why I believe this is the real premise of Tax the Rich. Tax the Rich is about envy. It's about, oh, he has more than me, or I feel entitled to get what he has, but I don't want to put in the same work that he did to get said money. And then if you dare to say, hey, look, I'm not satisfied with $1 billion, I want $1 trillion, they're gonna hit you with
How dare you?
and then no. Like, hey, if you're satisfied with your lifestyle, be content with that. But don't sit here trying to limit what I want to do with my life, limit how much money I want to make because it makes you feel inadequate. And I think that's where the source of all this tax the rich and all this socialism popularity is coming from, is this envy culture we live in. I think social media exacerbate this. Oh, I can't live like Chris Brown. Chris Brown shouldn't be jet trotting all around the U.S. like that. That should be me. If I can't do it, he shouldn't be able to do it. This weird thinking of fairness. Look, to me, inequality isn't inherently evil. That's the reality of the world. There's advantages I have that you don't have, and there's advantages that I have that you don't have. But and in all, we all have the right to have the same opportunities. I agree with, but equal results, no. But I digress. Let's continue.
The average family today is almost a third richer than 40 years ago because capitalists compete to get our dollars. Of course, this assumes there's competition, but I'm told that's no longer true. In fact, I'm a miserable, selfish pig for not saying that monopolies destroyed the free market. Some Republicans and Democrats say that's why tech companies must be broken up.
Calling Facebook, Amazon, and Apple all monopolies.
But are they really monopolies?
We do have monopolies. The government school system, the postal service. Monopolies are almost always a creation of government intervention.
Blocking competition?
I agree with that point because look at Tesla, right? People always complain, oh, Tesla's been subsidized by the government. And aren't they the leading leaders in making electric cars? And everyone just follows. Why? Because they got subsidized by the government, right? So if the government's creating monopolies, that's what I'm saying. And I didn't even know, this is my first time watching this video. Any corruption or any wrongdoing or any little inconvenience you notice in capitalism is always because the government wants to put themselves involved in it. That's usually what happens. This is why I stress that I'm a free market capitalist. That means, hey, my butt thinks, hey, government, you shouldn't be doing anything. Get out. I don't want you in there. Government is not the solution. Get as far away from the private sector as possible. I don't want you to do nothing for me. But I can help you. How you gonna help me? How you gonna help me? The government, when they come in, look at what they did with welfare. You artificially incentivize people to be comfortable in poverty. That's what welfare did. You get people comfortable in being taken care of by the government, like the government is their parent. And then when you put these same people in a position where they have to sustain themselves, they go, oh, it's too hard, it's too can't, because they got used to you spoon feeding them their life. And I don't think that's a sustainable system. And this is why I don't think, I agree, government will never be the solution to people's problems. Because if people want it, like if man don't work, man don't eat. That's a wise saying for a reason. If someone doesn't want to do the work for themselves to get the lifestyle that they want, they always will be dissatisfied with whatever the government do. It will never be good enough. This is why these socialists always want more and more. And then that government use that as justification to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. No, I'm all for localized government. Federal government shouldn't be top down, nothing. I'm all about decentralization at this point, but let's get back into the video.
For example,
keeping your phone system the best in the world.
Government granted Ma Bell a monopoly on phone calls. And in 30 years, their phones went from this to, well, just this.
Always improving. That's the Bell system for you.
A short phone call cost $17.
Wow.
Ma Bell got away with that because government banned competition.
In a free market economy, it's impossible to have a monopoly, because if somebody manages to get a lot of market share and they try to raise prices, new competitors are going to spring up and they're going to draw away the customers.
That happened to Blockbuster. It charged late fees. Netflix promised no late fees. Blockbuster soon went out of business.
And this is what happens when businesses don't get subsidized by the government. Because that's what I'm talking about. If you're not offering a better product, okay, die. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna bring my dollars over here. But the government's out here. And this is why I agree with the libertarians when they say taxation is death, because it is. Taxation is death. You steal money from us, and then you use it for what you think is best. Oh, I think we want everyone to do electric cars. I don't want an electric car. I want my gas car. My gas ain't polluting the earth as much as you think it is. No, everyone should get an electric car. So I'm gonna subsidize this. And then these companies get subsidized. Like, hey, we can raise our prices an extra $5,000. Ford. Let's get back into the video.
But people say today's tech companies are uniquely powerful.
No one can compete with them.
I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine. I don't use Google. But guess what? Even if I used Google and Facebook for 10 hours a day, no one's holding a gun to my head. They're obviously providing something of value. Heck, they're providing free search engines, free social media.
Just 14 years ago, people called MySpace a monopoly.
A natural
Then
monopoly.
Facebook proved them wrong. Our government once called U.S. Steel, Pan Am, IBM, Internet Explorer, and Kodak monopolies. That's something to consider next time you hear
big tech are the robber barons of the 21st century.
Robber barons like Rockefeller and Vanderbilt. But what we think about them is mostly a myth, too. In my next video, 4 other myths about capitalism.
Well, that was a good video, guys. I'm trying to get back into it. I'm trying to get used to the soundboard.
Nope.
But it might be a little awkward at first, but I'm sure I'll get the hang with it. Let me guys know what your thoughts in the comment section is, and I'll be reacting to the part 2. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.